This episode of Planted is brought to you by Jorma's Choice.
The Radio Misfits Podcast Network.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Planted with Sara Payan. I'm Sara Payan, your host, and today I have two very special guests. I have member of the Rock Hall of Fame, Jefferson Airplane and Hot Tuna, Jorma Kaukonen, and his wonderful wife, Vanessa Kaukonen, who is also the manager of Hot Tuna. And together, they are the proprietors of Jorma's Choice, a CBD brand out of Ohio. And I am so excited to have you both on today. Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for asking us to be a part of this.
Indeed.
Absolutely. So first question I always like to ask all of my guests was, what were your first cannabis experiences?
Well, you're older than me.
I'm old.
You
Yeah,
go
I get to go
first.
first. So I was born in 1940. So you have to remember, had I, in today's age, I would have smoked pot by the time I was probably 12 years old. But in those days, I didn't smoke pot till I was, 21 or 22 in San Francisco. And it was a big deal because if you took a pot bus back then, you'd go away, not to jail, but to prison. And it's we're talking about marijuana, et cetera. In today's world, the stuff back then was such dirt weed that the kids, they would you're smoking this stuff. It was probably like mostly seeds and stems and all that kind of stuff. But anyhow, so I remember I was in school at Santa Clara down in the South Bay, and I drove up. One of my friends had an apartment in the Haight at the corner of Haight and Waller, a basement apartment, and the whole thing was, come on up, we've got some pot. Wow. So I got a ride from a friend of mine. I didn't have a car back then, but the two of us drove up. And I remember there was like this little seedy looking little bag with, I'd never really seen pot before. It was mostly stems. I thought the pot was like basically twigs for a long time. And there were some leaves also. And I remember we smoked it and wondered, well, is anything ever going to happen? And then of course it was all new. Something did happen, and the rest truly is history.
How about you, Vanessa?
My experience is nowhere near that poetic. I was not born in 1940. I was born in 1962.
Really?
And my first experience, I was 15 years old. My parents had gotten divorced, and we moved from Hartford, Connecticut, to an apartment from Hartford, Connecticut to Manchester, and which is, I don't know, maybe a half hour, something like that. Seemed like forever away from the life I'd known, but I befriended the girl and her sister and brother that lived downstairs. It was a duplex, and I'll just say, they were all heads, all of them. Even like the young brother, who was like 10, he smoked pot. So it was summer, and they wanted to go to this. It was like a man-made swimming hole called Globe Hollow. I thought it was the coolest thing. Of course, it's like where everybody got conjunctivitis.
Oh, no.
There was no outlet. It was like a big
Stagnant pool.
pee hole because
Yeah.
everybody peed in it. Sorry, I digress. And Laura, the girl downstairs who was my age, lit up a joint, and she says, "You smoke, don't you?" And I go, "Sure." I did not smoke. I'd tried cigarettes at that time. And I remember we probably walked maybe 2 miles, and I smoked, and I remember inhaling and like trying not to cough. I didn't cough, but you kind of do that, and so you're holding it in even more. And I remember I lost memory from that point to the point that I got to Globe Hollow. It was all euphoric. There was no recollection of me walking in the summer sun. And by the time I got to Globe Hollow, it wasn't like I passed out or anything.
Must have been good.
Yeah.
It wasn't the twigs that you were smoking.
Twigs.
And I just thought that was the coolest thing ever. I thought, oh my God, it's like, what just happened to me? Um, I continued a career of smoking and, various things, until I got sober in my 30s.
Right
There
on.
you go.
Right on.
I'm not like, but it was the loss of time and space, and that the stuff that was eating me emotionally, which was my parents' divorce and me being a teenager and not knowing anyone, like that took up all that space and all that brain pain. And I just thought, wow, I could like forget everything.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I can see that. I for myself, I was a precocious kid and I tried it when I was 13. And it was still back in the days where you had to clean everything up. There was still lots of seeds and everything. Like they don't even have to sell, I mean, they sell rolling trays just to roll now, not to clean the weed anymore, you
That's
know?
not, that's funny.
But that was when I realized that I was an anxious person because all of a sudden I knew what it was like to be calm. Not saying, listeners out there, youth access, like children should not be using cannabis, but if they are, they should know the truth about what it does. Like when I had
Right.
Crosby on the show, one of the questions I asked him is, what should you, what youth access talking to children? He's like, tell them the truth. Because when you're truthful about it, there's less wonder and less stigma, and you're not going to be as curious about it. Because for me as a kid, you tell me not to do something, I was like, ooh, wow, I got to check that out. What's that all about, But it's an interesting thing because you both have been so immersed in, in rock culture and music, and especially like with, Airplane and Hot Tuna in the 60s and 70s, well, 70s more so, correct?
Yeah.
And there was a lot of things going on with cannabis and other things. But what were you seeing as far as like cannabis culture in San Francisco? Because you were here when everything was popping. I mean, I still see on Facebook that old house that you all lived in. People always put up pictures of it and they talk about your legend lives on basically of all the wild times back
And
then.
interestingly enough, uh, this woman who I knew when she was like a teenager, now in San Jose, now owns that house and lives in it. And it was before COVID. She invited me over to have a look. They kept it. It looks the same way as it did when the airplane lived there, except
Wow.
for the apartment where her kids are still living. But that's another story. But yeah, so right. So I mean, San Francisco. I mean, it was just a really interesting place for whatever reason. And I guess people write about that. Or it's an interesting thing for people. Why was San Francisco like that? Who knows? I moved to California because I wanted to go to San Francisco because the whole beat thing really appealed to me. But in my era, I had to stay in school or I would have been drafted. And I couldn't, my grades weren't good enough to get into a San Francisco school, which is how I wound up down the peninsula. But anyway, San Francisco was just always a mecca for things that were happening. Why is that? Who knows? Uh, a confluence of ley lines or energy we can't see. I mean, but it's kind of always been that way. I think maybe I mean, from my opinion, maybe one of the things is that San Francisco can't get any bigger except by going up, which it has done since I left. But back in those days, I remember, I think it was before the Trans-American Pyramid, before all those buildings. I think the tallest building there couldn't have been more than 10 stories. I mean, it was a small town. And because it was a small town, everybody knew each other. And I think because of the history of the beach and all that kind of stuff, it just set the stage before the word hippie was invented for people of my age bracket to go, yeah, I want to be there. I want to do that too. And we all did. And it was great. I mean, we joke about living in San Francisco. When I moved there in '65, I had a third store walk up on Divisadero between Turk and Eddy with a garage for $85 a month. San
Crazy.
Francisco was a cheap place to live back then. It's funny to think about. And the other thing was because it's a small town, in my opinion, because
Mhm.
everybody on the quote unquote scene knew each other, not just musicians, but all kinds of creative artists, with I mean, owning a secondhand clothing store back then was like a creative art too. A lot of people had those, and it was just a very, very loosely, yet very intimately knit community of people that knew each other and kind of like the same stuff. And I think that led to a community where you didn't have to wonder whether does somebody smoke pot? Am I gonna offend or get in trouble if I pull out a joint? The answer is no. Somebody's gonna go give me a hit.
Right, right. It's funny because all of my friends who were there at that time, everybody knows everybody, and they have all these stories to tell,
Right. Oh yeah.
and it's really cool. And just the other day, Jeff and I were listening to that release that you did of when you were in Santa Clara, and
Right.
you and Janice were in the kitchen playing music. And I was
Right.
thinking about that time and like how different it is now. Like, hell, you can't afford to live in Santa Clara anymore. It's
Right.
totally different.
Yeah. So that that little reel-to-reel tape of me and Janice getting ready for some free gig we were doing at the Coffee Gallery up on Grant. I had I think I may have been just about to, and I use the term loosely, graduate from college. But that house was on Fremont Street in Santa Clara. It was a big house. It had like 4 bedrooms, and I mean, it was a big house. It was a house for a big family. And me and my ex-wife lived there, and a couple other people, but we had no furniture whatsoever. Just these big rooms and like orange crates to sit on, stuff like that. Funny.
Wow, wow. It was such a the sound was so intimate. It was really, really wonderful. And to hear you, like when you were playing, Jeff was like, that's unmistakable. That's Yorma. Like I'd know that guitar anywhere. And then hearing her voice and knowing that she was just 19 years old when the two of you did
Absolutely.
that, like what an interesting time to be a part of. But going forward and going into what you're doing now, you've had such an amazing career, not only with Airplane, but also with Jack and Hot Tuna, and then Fur Peace Ranch and all the different things that you've done. And I know, Vanessa, you were like, Fur Peace Ranch was such a labor of love for you as well. How did you get into the CBD brand? Because I've been looking at the products. They're beautiful and they're just so well fashioned, and they smell wonderful too because I've been sniffing them this morning.
Well, I'm also an aromatherapist, so what it smelled like was important because the first thing that happens when you open anything, whether it's food or that's got a thing on it, Yorma.
I was just
Is it
going to sniff it, but
no, it's open. Let's see, you can open that one.
oh, good. Go ahead.
It has a peppermint, which is really, well, it'll open everything up in your
Mm-hmm.
membrane. Your olfactory is, your olfactory bulb, that's your little brain. And so that's where all the kind of euphoric memories or not euphoric, we've talked about when you like eat something and so you get that taste in your mouth, but you can smell it. And we can go back 30 years to a time and place.
Right.
So it was important that it smell good. One of the things that I was afraid of, I'd actually tried Willie Nelson's CBD. It was a balm. I'd been in a motorcycle wreck when I was a teenager. I was hit from behind while I was sitting at a red light. And when the gal hit me, I used to know her name. I knew it was a white firebird, but I thought I'll never forget her name. And if I ever see her, I'm gonna blah blah blah. I can't remember who. I can't remember. All I remember, she was screaming when she hit me. The sissy bar broke. I bounced back on the hood of her Firebird, and I could hear her before I got knocked out because I was like a rag doll. I bounced on the hood of her Firebird. When she put the brakes on, I flew 100 feet. So all the damage was lower back, C2 through C5, L2 through L7.
Wow.
But I couldn't walk. I broke nothing. because I was like a rag doll, but I was hit and it was just my whole body was one giant contusion. I have spots in my body like the top of my right thigh, right below my buttocks.
Well said.
I can't feel it.
Wow.
Yeah, I can't feel it. I had a doctor up in Larkspur actually do a little tuck for me because there was a 9 inch in diameter. It just never went away. There was no bruising, but I have no, I pinch it, nothing. I feel nothing there. I have one little nick on the inside of my left thigh, or my left knee, in the back of my knee. But it was whiplash. It was back and everything hit. Um, After I could walk again, you get on with your life. You're young. I smoked pot through the whole thing, even though, when you're recovering, it's bad. Smoking anything while there's a bone break is just not good for healing, but I didn't break anything and I wouldn't have known that. I know that now. So fast forward to, 50, 50 something. I started having extreme pain in my C2 through C5. Like, it was like just a cattle prod. Headaches. By that time I was sober. So I was eating 800 milligram Motrin 4 times a day. Did this for 2 years.
Ooh, that had to hurt your stomach.
Discover the power of Jorma's Choice CBD products. When we chose a sober life, we searched for the best CBD to manage our chronic pain. In Raywood, Kentucky, the home of Bickett and Boone, we found the perfect solution. Jorma's Choice is a range of topicals, tinctures, bath salts, and gummies. Choose Jorma's Choice for pain-free living. Shop now at furpeaceranch.com. FURPEACERANCH.com.
You know what? I said, oh, it's fine. Guess what? Now I have stomach issues. I did 2 years of PT. Every week that I did PT, the week after it, I did acupuncture.
Mm-hmm.
My OMM chiropractors, physical therapists, they all agreed. You're kind of tapped. We can do pain management. I'm like, I'm not doing pain management. Forget it. So Buckeye Spine and Rehab, which is north of here in Lancaster, that's who I was referred to a Dr. Higgins. He's brilliant. He did an assessment, had me go up to Ortho Neuro Center in Gahanna to see if they could go in through the front of my neck because I had stenosis. It was just a mess. Everything was compressed. I didn't qualify because the worst part of it was in between C1 and C2, which is right in line with my vertebral artery. It's a 50-50 chance.
Oh, wow.
It could work and you'll die, or it could not work
And you'll die.
and you'll die.
Wow.
I'm like, okay, back to Buckeye Spine and Rehab. He said, okay, we've exhausted those efforts. We're going to do a nerve ablation. A nerve ablation is essentially where they go in and they burn a nerve. People have ablations in their heart for, angina and things like that. So the whole process is barbaric because you're awake. First of all, the insurance companies won't pay for it until you go through 3 tests, which is a mock nerve ablation. But what they're doing is, you're face down. They kind of do a little, it's not really a tattoo, but similar to what they do with radiation. They mark above the facet joint, and this is at C2, on the facet joint, below the facet joint. And they're going to inject it with lidocaine or whatever the new something cane is. Essentially is lidocaine and something else. They do 3 of them. And if the doctor gets it, because you then chart your pain for the next 3 weeks, if you get a good 24 hours with no pain, they know they got it. They know they got the nerve. Then the insurance company says, okay, we're going to let you do it. So then you go back and it's almost the same process as if this time they insert it's, I say a rod, it's not actually a rod, but a wire fits through it. So it's very small. And he's watching everything on a camera, and they go in with the wire, and you have to tell him when they hit the nerve.
Oh, wow.
That's the barbaric part. And so, and it's enormous amount of pressure and heat, because they're burning it and you can smell it. So I'm like, okay, yeah, you got that one, and then the next one, okay, you got that one. Next one, I didn't even feel anything from the next one because I was so traumatized. Left, went about my business. They don't tell you what post-op is like. Horrible. And I came back and said, what's going on? I feel like someone's got a Bic lighter on the back of my neck. He goes, well, nobody ever talks about the post-op, and I don't usually see them afterwards. I go, because they don't want to go through this again. He's basically, anybody who does a nerve ablation will tell you you get a year. I get almost 6 years out of it. I was like no pain.
Wow.
After year 7, hurt like hell again. So I went back, and he said, well, we're going to have to do the 3 things. I go, bullshit. Sorry. Am I allowed to swear?
Yeah, totally. You're on Radio
Bullshit.
Misfits. You can say
I
whatever
go,
you want.
why would I do? Here's my MRIs. You did it. You know what's going on. Advocate for me. Tell them I don't want to go through this, and that I shouldn't, because you know that I have this issue. So, and he did. God bless him. He did. So I went right in, had the nerve ablation. Post-op, horrible. It never worked. It didn't work. So there I am after all that. I'm like, oh my God, what am I going to do? So I tried, that's the Willie Nelson. I tried Willie's balm. I thought, I don't want to eat anymore. By that time I was doing naproxen. They switched me to a 500 milligram naproxen twice a day. And I followed it because you want to get in front of the pain. It's the non-narcotic, pain management. I opened the little jar. God bless Willie Nelson, but I opened the jar of this thing, and I'm like, it's a bag of reefer. I go, oh my God. And
Really good Weaver.
I go,
Only the best with Willie.
That's
oh,
Willie.
is this supposed to be? So I put it on, and I smelled like a bag of weed. I'm like, I can't do this. I'm sober. I love you, Willie, but I can't do this. So I gave it to one of the guys that works with me, and was at wit's end. I thought, I can't live in pain. I cannot go through this again. I met this guy in town. His name is David Salzman. He was representing Bickett and Boone. Turns out David Salzman and I had a connection through one of my dearest friends. They knew each other through the Jewish camp circuit in New York. The whole thing was just like so serendipitous. But so he introduced me to, he gave me a little sample. He goes, just try it. I'm like, it's not going to smell like weed, is it? Just no. I literally, a little sample, I put it on. My hand wasn't even off my neck. I go, are you shitting me? I go, oh my God. I'm like, I was out of pain. I'm like, this can't be. So I said, I want to meet them.
Yeah.
Now, the guys that run Bickett and Boone are the official, they call themselves the Cornbread Mafia. They are in Raywick, Kentucky. Anybody can look it up. I don't think I need to go into the whole thing, but they were cannabis growers.
Yeah, there's a Wikipedia page about it.
No,
That's right. And there's a book called The Cornbread Mafia.
Mafia.
That's about them also.
And their stories are wild.
They're fantastic.
Wild.
Of course.
Bunch of brothers, Bickett brothers, and Johnny Boone, who Johnny Boone just passed away.
I heard that. Just like
He just passed away
10
last
days
week.
ago. Yeah.
Yeah, last week. He actually did jail time
Quite a bit of jail time.
from all their escapades. Took the heat for the whole plan. Anyways, so they're all legit. They went into the hemp business. Still had all the fields. They had to change what they grew, how they grew. And I got a hold of him and I said, Robbie, what is this magic that you have? I mean, I said, I'm sober. So this is a big deal for me. And I won't imitate his Kentucky accent, but it's the best.
It is the best.
It's the best.
You can't. Got to be born and bred, Vanessa.
I know. He goes, well, I'll send you some samples. And we got to work together to create not just one product. I wanted to start with two. I wanted to do a 500 milligram and 1,000 milligram bomb, which I think I sent you and Jeff
Yep.
some of these.
Which I'll talk about
Yes.
in a bit.
And I launched the product in November of 2019. And you know, I wasn't going to let anything get in the way of my sobriety. I actually had to leave Willie Nelson's bus when we were doing a tour with him. I'm going to out John, but I won't use his last name. So we got a little audience with Willie and
His daughter said, "Dad will see you now."
Dad will see you now. I'm like, okay. So me, John, Yorma, Jack got to meet him, talk to him. Yorma and Jack had to go on stage. They go off the bus. Willie says to John, come back. Come back. Like, okay, we know what that meant. So I look at John, I go, I can't. He goes, oh, come on. I go, there will go my sobriety.
Strong, Vanessa, strong.
Like, I love Willie Nelson so much, but I'm like, I love my sobriety more.
Yeah.
So I left the bus and I told him, I go, listen, no, please, no disrespect here. I can't. He goes, it's fine, it's fine. So I leave and I am walking on the little tarmac there. Half hour later, John comes out. I'm like, I could just look at him like, what's it? He goes, oh, it was so cool. I'm like, oh. So, my sobriety was everything. It still is. This product was unbelievable. So we went from the bomb to the rock solid stick, which is what I use every single day.
This is not a deodorant.
It looks like a deodorant container, and it literally turns up so that comes out of the top. It's got a little pinkish hue.
That's so convenient.
Yeah. Well, I needed something to travel in it, and what I needed was a firmer consistency. So there's a little bit more beeswax in this. The balm that Yorma uses is a little bit more shea butter. So, these like a cool, dry place. We do small batch. I sell so many of them. I could, call them and say, hey, I need 1,000 of this, 1,000 of this. I do, give me 50 of this, give me 75 of this, because we just do small batch. I always want it to be fresh. However, I've had my rock solid for a year and it's still good.
I have to say, like, the aromas are great because working with patients, and then when we got into legalization and people are using it for pain, one of the biggest concerns they always have is, will I smell like weed? Because they want to be able to have pain relief and go to work and be around people and not have that. I mean, I love the smell of cannabis, and because I worked in a dispensary, like, it doesn't bother me. I used to joke that I was permanent.
Oh, I love the smell of cannabis too, just to be clear.
But it's not always appropriate, right?
Yeah,
Right.
I've got one of my buddies who's a Vietnam vet, and he has some physical issues as a result of that, and I've tried to encourage him to use our products because I think they would help him, but he's paranoid that in some way it'll show up when he goes to the VA, and so I haven't been able to convince him to do that. So anyway.
But so we came up with a line. I'll let Yorma talk about why he likes the bomb so much. He's actually the picture of Yorma rubbing it on his hands. That's what he does every single day. We have the rock solid stick. We have a 500 and 1,000 milligram bomb. We have the rock solid with arnica for bruising, for sports. We have 3 different gummies, which we used Yorma's song titles. We have Day to Day, we have Steady If She Goes, and though this isn't a song title, the 1,500 milligram is Golden Gate. I have a blackberry tincture, a mint tincture, a bourbon cinnamon, Robbie's from Kentucky. Goes, you got to do a bourbon cinnamon. We're bourbon. I go, okay, it's not going to taste like, he goes, it's going to taste like bourbon, but there's no alcohol in it. I'm like, okay, okay. And we have a canine, which my dog Maverick is on the cover. He has this thing about storms. He's our radar. I know a half hour before a storm's coming. It works great. So,
I mean, it's really interesting. This sounds like a testimonial, and we know you're on board with this stuff because we're having this conversation.
right.
That's right.
But people that are not familiar with the possibilities that that things like this have, poo-poo it all the time. And like I have another friend that could really use this stuff, and I tell him, I said, look, uh, I have similar pain to what you do. I use it all the time, and he's just so completely adamant that it won't work. And I go, look, you ought to just try it. You don't need to believe in this for this to work. I mean, that's the deal. This is not like, a psychosomatic kind of a thing, but he won't do it anyway. Sorry. I'll take it.
My understanding that humans, we all have CB1 and CB2 receptors in our body.
We do.
So ED talks to the CB1 and CB2 receptors. Now, why I responded like I did, which was like that New York minute, was like, oh, pain gone. Your pain, your hands are everything. This
Right.
is, Jorma's picking hand. That's,
Right.
It works.
Yeah, it does work. And so
But there are some people
it doesn't seem
that
to
it
work for everybody. I mean, I've never done a clinical study because that's not what I do.
must be something to
But
do
but
with
I
the
know,
CB1 and
but for the
CB2
most part,
receptors in
yeah,
their
for the
body.
most part, when I talk to people that get introduced to not just our product, but because we talk about this a lot anyway, excuse me, is if it works for you, it's going to work.
Yeah.
If it doesn't, that doesn't mean it doesn't work. It just means it doesn't work for you.
Everyone's
has-
so different.
Truly.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But I've got to say that it seems to work more often than not. It's been a while since we've taken it on the road to sell, and one of the reasons is, and
It's still an issue. Some
it's an
promoters won't let
it's
me
an issue
sell
in a
it.
lot of places. And interestingly enough, the two places, there's been a couple of years since we've taken it on the road
This
with
is
it.
crazy.
Yeah, this is crazy. The two places we couldn't sell it were the Fillmore in San Francisco and in Denver, where you can order it like pizza and have it delivered.
That's interesting.
Isn't that weird?
It was
That is
crazy.
weird.
I think it has something to do with the alcohol beverage control.
Yes, they can't have the two in one
I mean, I don't know that for a
location.
fact, but anyway.
Looking to grow your cannabis business and expand your network? Join the National Association of Cannabis Businesses for just $50 a month and unlock exclusive access to new commercial opportunities and clients across the industry. Enjoy special discounts, free advertising, and access to members-only content. Whether you're starting out or scaling up, NACB tailors its memberships to propel you forward. Visit nacb.com now and join the leading community dedicated to cannabis business excellence.
I mean, I think that you're not wrong about that because there's a lot of confusion around it and they don't understand that, the THC levels in a product like yours is so minimal. It's just, there's no conflict at all. We see that even with events when we're looking at having consumption at events, and then there are beer tents. They're still trying to figure out a lot of things, but for a product like yours, there's a lot of confusion about the difference between hemp-based products and euphoric cannabis-based products.
Right.
And I think, I can't tell you how many times people have come in when I used to work in a dispensary and they'd want to look at topicals or they'd talk about pain and I'd suggest something. And they come in later and they're just wiggling their fingers at me happily. It's that's the best. And I mean, for you, Jorma, I know guitar players, Jeff has to get cortisone shots in his shoulder and his thumb because of all of the years of playing. And you've been playing way longer and you have that intricate picking. So it must be to have something for relief must be amazing.
So I've been really lucky. I'm knocking on wood here. I've been really lucky so far that I still have cartilage and all that kind of stuff because you can't replace that in your hands.
Yeah.
But in my left hand my fretting hand, for some reason, I've started to develop some issues around this joint with my thumb and these two fingers here. Excuse me, but but I just like marinate my hand in
Your
in
choice.
before I go on stage. But one of the things that's cool about it also is yeah, it feels greasy in the beginning. I let it sit for a while. I can wipe it off, and whatever's left does not impede my playing or damage the neck of my guitar. Sort of an interesting like bit of ad copy with the product when most people aren't guitar players, but as a guitar player, that makes a difference. I mean,
Yeah.
if it just messed things up or my hand got all greasy and stuff, it wouldn't work, but it does work.
Well, shea butter is not oil, and so your skin,
Right.
I've used lotions that had shea butter in it,
Sure.
and you know, if you have dry
Yeah.
skin, it's going to soak it up. So the same with the rock solid. Yes, it
Yeah.
is a little bit more beeswax, but I am not the rock solid. I literally do a swipe and a swipe. I don't rub it in. I can't
Yeah.
feel it at all. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I for my hands, I like the Muscle Bomb better than the Rock Solid because I can really rub it in.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I just wanna I developed the rock solid so I could stick it in my bag and take it with me. And if I'm on the plane, I can pull it out. Someone thinks it's, you know, deodorant because that's
Yeah.
Ooh.
But the canine stuff was great.
It is. And I
Yeah.
probably should have done some before I left the house because I think a little storm was coming, but
So you have to give this is the thing about, at least with our dog. Um, you know, if he's telling me a storm's coming, I give it to him. If the
Yeah.
storm's here and I give it to him,
too late.
he's gonna be
Yeah.
feeling good an hour later.
It's also
So
good for like fireworks and stuff with pets.
oh, I know. Oh, we had a guy, our neighbor that was
Yeah.
having
Funny you should mention it.
yeah, this was just last year at the end of the year. He had a high school reunion. It's a well-known, I won't say his name, but a
Uh,
well-known real estate guy in
This is
town.
not a kid, by the way. This is an adult.
And all of a sudden, I'm, you know, Maverick's pacing and jumping, and I go outside. I go, what the heck is that? It's 4 houses down. Boom, 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 boom. I'm like, you know, you could have.
6-inch mortars. We're talking about
Oh,
industrial
wow.
Your whole neighborhood has dogs. It would have been nice.
to give us a heads
But
up.
we did do, you know, we did do the CBD. Now this is canine CBD. I had someone call me the other day and say, "Can I use it on my cat?" No, I don't know anything about feline, but
Right,
it
right.
is. It's I don't know what they have for feline. I have outdoor cats, and
They're
but-
on their own.
well, they're barn cats.
Poor cat.
Barn cats. I know your cat's like your baby.
He
listen.
is.
Our cats can not only climb up trees, they can climb down also.
Yeah. But our product is great.
Yeah.
We have a nice package of stuff that covers everything. Like I'm postmenopausal, all kinds of stuff that goes along with that. But one of the things is I don't sleep. It's hard for me to go to sleep. So the 25 milligram or 250, as each one is 25
Yeah,
milligrams.
got it.
Day to day, the lowest dose, not even the, you know, the Golden Gate, which is our highest content. That's all I need. It's a real peaceful transition and similar to melatonin, but I get why I'm the only person on the planet that loves the wild dreams that you get with melatonin. I do a rescue remedy with melatonin, but one of the day-to-day gummies, or even the 500 milligram, which is our lowest
Right.
content tincture, you know, like not even an inch
Yeah.
under my tongue, and I'll fall asleep.
That's great. And CBD also for people who are going through perimenopause and menopause, it's been very helpful for things like hot flashes. And you know, when you're looking at CBD products, like there are still, even though we're getting into this era of normalization and legalization, we still have areas where people don't have access to cannabis, but they have access to hemp products. And with the way hemp products have been coming out, you have to be very, very discerning about what
Right.
products you work with, because you don't know where it comes from. You don't know what the controls are on them. So one of the biggest challenges I've had for clients is being able to recommend a good product that they can count on and that they can order and get sent to them. And this is
Right.
one it's really wonderful for that. And I was wondering, have you turned any of your musician friends on to it?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. In fact, um, the last time I was out on the road, you know, I'm one of the oldest of my musician friends that's still around. But all of us, you wind up having problems. I mean, that's just the deal. In the old days, you just accepted it, you wouldn't have thought about it. But again, because I use the muscle bomb before I go on stage, if I'm doing a show where there's a bunch of people, what are you doing? And I tell them about it. Can I try it? Absolutely. Absolutely. It's really funny. Instead of passing a joint around, we pass around a tin of CBD muscle bomb.
Times have changed.
But but yeah, and people go, all I can say is wow.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, self-care is like, it's such a huge thing for everybody, but especially as a performer, because if you aren't in tip-top shape, how can you be your best out on the stage?
agreed. Agreed. So yeah, I mean it's opened up a lot of doors for me personally in a lot of ways. Of course, it doesn't hurt that we have this business together because it means I'm never out of it.
Yeah.
And I forgot to reorder. I just go, Vanessa,
You
I
know,
need, I need another tin of.
well, one of the things that I love about working with Robbie, not only are we friends, he's professional, he's used all the like oil suggestions, all the organic,
He's easy to work with.
real easy to
He's easy
work
to work
with, but
with. Yeah.
he loves small batch as much as I do.
Yeah.
It's no big deal for him to say, you need 25, I'll send you 25. And
I mean,
because
I'm not a chemist, but it makes perfect sense. I mean, if it turned into a huge business, then obviously you're going to talk about quote unquote manufacturing. But I mean, it's more than a boutique business, but it's small batch, so you can really keep tabs on the quality, consistency, and all that goes along with it.
we're trying to do, we also have a tea line, herbal tea, and we have coffee, and I'm trying to the people that roast our beans for us were not at all interested in doing CBD in the coffee. And so I spoke to another roaster who I love these gals. It's before anything went to the courts in Ohio and the permitting, they would have to get the permitting. It was such a hassle that my sister Ginger said, well, why don't you just, tell people to take a little squirt of the CBD and put it in your coffee. I go, not the same because you see the oil on top and I'll just put it under my tongue. But I've had
Yeah.
coffee that was infused with CBD. I would like to get into that. My coffee line is very popular. It's in all our grocery stores. We do very well with it, but I would like to do that.
Yeah.
It's new.
Because I don't want to do I can do decaf and I will do decaf for
Decaf is like washing your feet with your socks on.
no. You know what? I was when I wasn't doing caffeine,
Just
I
kidding.
got behind the taste,
Yeah.
but I want to there are reasons that I want to do the caffeinated bean with CBD.
Mm.
I'm interested in how I know how coffee makes me feel. It's so funny. I'm sober, but I drink a lot of coffee. So there's no,
But wait a
crazy or
minute,
drug in caffeine.
coffee with CBD, it's like an organic speedball.
Well, I mean, that's what they call when you have just regular cannabis and coffee, they call it a Seattle speedball.
Yeah. Well, there you go. That's my
So
take.
that's really the only other thing that I want to try. Oh, we also do bath salt. So, and I haven't used any in the last 2 years because we bought and renovated a old house and I don't have any tubs. We have just walk-in showers because
I could
we're
spray.
old.
I could spray you with it.
Yeah. But the bath salts are wonderful.
The other thing too is
Eucalyptus is the oil I use.
I don't
Oh,
know what it's like in
nice.
California. It's probably more progressive in a lot of ways than Ohio about this. But the laws concerning everything that has to do with CBD and products and stuff like that are so convoluted, you know, and it's a work in progress. Definitely going. It's a work in progress, and I think that a lot of people are tentative about really getting into this business because you don't know what's going to happen next, you know.
Well, we were selling it online through our other merchant services through Fur Peace Ranch, and the merchant service company that does our processing, that processes all the credit cards, said, you got to take that offline. We won't process any money made from CBD.
Yes.
Wait a minute.
It's like
I go,
selling
Yeah.
drugs.
I go, what are you
Yeah.
talking about? I go, I'm not. This is, and this time it was topical. I go, I'm not eating my muscle bomb. I'm like, it's not, people aren't getting high from this. This is CBD. Do your homework. I'm just going to say it.
Say it.
No offense to anybody who lives in Texas, but he was
Say it.
from Texas. It was a Texas bank, and they weren't any part of it. So I played dumbass, and I said, fine. I didn't take it down. They shut me down. They shut down my site and made it impossible for anybody to buy it. So I took it offline, made it so you could call me on the phone and I'd send it to you. I didn't miss a beat. We sold more product because people wanted to talk about it. But I had to go and find a bank through a middleman that processed CBD with the help of Robbie. I went through a company called DigiPay. They found, I think it was First National Bank. I had to give them everything, almost my firstborn, the information they wanted it. And then once they saw the product, and now I can sell it.
Yeah, that's been a huge thing in the industry. Even for myself, I don't have a plant touching business. You know, I work with doctors and patients and companies and teach, and Stripe will not process my payments as a consultant. And there are journalists that have newsletters, and they also are not selling any products. And they've had problems too getting shut down. And there's a lot of misinformation out there. And it's amazing because when things start to normalize, you know they're going to want our money. And by then, I hope that there are processors that have already embraced this, and then it's too late for the rest of them because it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous when people are trying to have a legal business. And when we look at policy, as somebody who does a lot of work with it, it doesn't make sense because a lot of it is based on stigma. And then there's also the differences. And, you know, as you two have traveled so much, you see the differences in the cultures in each state. That also dictates how it's embraced and how it changes things. It's crazy.
But the alcohol use, now I'm voicing this opinion from the sober side of the tracks, but you know, those guys that shut me down, that bank that shut me down, they're all out drinking cocktails and getting in their cars and driving intoxicated. I'm like, I'm rubbing muscle bomb on my hurt neck.
Right.
It just floors me. And one of the women that I had to speak to, like several people, and I went off. I go, this isn't, I'm not yelling at you. I go, this is just such a bullshit. She goes, you're preaching to the choir, honey. She goes, but I just work here. I'll take your information. I'm like, this is just, it's so draconian. I'm like, you're telling me that you're going to the bar and getting in your car after 4 or 5 cocktails and you're going to shut me down because I got a pain I'm trying to get rid of and not using any narcotic to do it. And you don't like it.
I mean, there is no logical foundation to what we're talking about here.
No.
It's like a bizarre negative cultural view of the whole thing. I mean, it's ridiculous, you know, but it's not a conversation you'll have with somebody on the other side because they just don't get it.
Oh, no, they had the
Right.
power.
Yeah.
They let me know that they were the ones with the power.
Yeah,
And it
'cause-
just infuriated me. And then I looked like,
Nah, that's just
what
the
did they
deal.
say? I looked like a Karen. I was like,
You're going to be okay.
I'm okay.
I know.
I'm okay.
It is a frustrating thing, and it's something that we have to get more lobbying effort about. I mean, because that's the only way they're going to listen.
So, it's interesting to me, and believe me, I don't want to come, I'm not a pretend expert on this because I'm absolutely not. But if you think about the place of cannabis products in society since the beginning of time, you know, aside from the fact that yes, there is such a thing as organized crime. We know about all this kind of stuff. I mean, there's organized crime about a lot of things, but there just doesn't seem to be anything really that I'm aware of in terms of what the product does to a person that should make it illegal.
Right.
You know, unless you're underage, and that's another discussion for another time. But and on all the byproducts of it, like what we're doing, I mean, it just doesn't make sense. And so, one can only theorize that because this seems to be the way, in my opinion, that society works, is that the reason that we have all these problems is because somebody's making a lot of money out of the problems.
Oh, absolutely. And there's even the show about when we got into prohibition back in the day. It was after alcohol prohibition, and they even said on the record, Anslinger said that he didn't see any issues with cannabis, that there wasn't anything problematic. But then he changed his tune. He was also married to a DuPont, and cannabis was an excuse to create racism. It also was in direct competition with DuPont's new plastics. And also William Randolph Hearst saw it as a threat to the lumber industry. So it's completely contrived. And now we have this...
Well, you mean the use of hemp was a threat to the...
Yep. Industrial hemp. And so then, they used it as an excuse to create, that otherness around Black and brown folks. And, and if we had been able to use hemp industrially, I wonder, would we have a lot of the environmental issues that we do now? The fact that we all have microplastics in our bodies, and the fact that, we're having all this climate change, especially because of all the deforestation.
True. Agreed. No argument.
Well, I don't think it's too late. I think that our daughter's generation.
One can hope.
I'm completely hopeful. The old guard's going to die off soon.
Well, your daughter's generation gives me great hope because they are so proactive and so compassionate, and they just seem to understand things. And I really, seeing that gives me hope, because sometimes with everything that's going on and the way people just don't use critical thought and make choices that not only work against the world, but themselves, can be a real downer.
Oh, yeah. Agreed.
Yeah.
But on that note, what are you hopeful and excited about in the future?
Well, I'm thinking about opening this fresh tin of Jorma's Choice Muscle Bomb.
2 of them at home. Are you hurting?
No, a little bit. I'll do it when I get home. So
I'm hopeful that this political nightmare that we're swirling around in right now, I'm not gonna go off.
It would be all right if you did.
Yeah.
Well, most everybody knows how I roll. Everybody has to get out and vote.
Yep.
Yes.
And we can't.
And this will be our
can't.
daughter will be able to vote this fall. She's just turning 18, so we're pretty excited about her and her friends.
And I'm just gonna say
there.
it. You can bleep me or never ask me to do another interview again. You can't vote for Donald Trump. We just can't. It can't happen. There.
Agreed.
I said it.
Agreed.
Ditto. Yeah, what she
This
said.
makes me crazy.
Well,
and people,
Sorry.
it's true. And people need to understand that, as tired as we all are, and we've been through so much, our votes do matter. It is something, it's our superpower. We have to get out and we have to vote. We have to vote about our getting our elected officials in. It's not just about Washington. It's also like when people say that, they're frustrated with things with cannabis or access to good food or our environment. We have to vote, and getting involved on a local level is so incredibly important too, because that's in many ways where we create the most change. And I know it can feel like we don't have a lot to say, but the people whose jobs depend on our votes, they know how important it is that we get there. And there are people who are actively trying to make us think that it doesn't matter, and they're wearing us down and we cannot listen to them.
Oh, no. No, absolutely. I remember, yeah, you can bleep this out too if you need to, but our buddy John Hurlbut that we work with, his dad, Pat, a great guy, Ray, great guy. He was always full of these bits of wisdom, you know. And I remember before he passed away, it was one of the last elections. He goes, "I can't even get it up anymore, but I could still vote."
No, I'm not going to bleep you. I had Stevie Van Zandt on, and we got on a roll because you know how political he is.
Yeah.
And I think we have to have this discourse. We have to
Sure.
talk about it. It is so important.
Yeah,
And I
agree.
love that.
On that note.
And on that note, I'm so glad that you're both here today. It's just been wonderful talking with you. I'm so
Fabulous.
excited about your line. It's beautiful, you know, and for those of you out there, you know, Vanessa is a health coach and she has a background in things with you. You've done work with herbs, you've done work with aromatherapy. These are very thoughtfully curated products. And I think that it's wonderful that you're out there having the conversation to help with normalization and also help people get relief and be able to have the conversation about using, because hemp and cannabis are the same product, the same plant. The only difference is the categorization due to the THC levels. You can get relief and maintain your sobriety.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I turned down smoking a joint with Willie Nelson.
My
I
goodness.
speak for the sober people.
Yeah, I know you do. No.
That's
Good
like
job.
denying the Pope.
The Lorax. I speak for the trees.
That's right.
That's my girl.
Well, thanks for asking us. This was
It's been a
great.
pleasure.
Thank you.
It's been a lucid conversation.
Indeed.
I'll let you know if I get the successful coffee bean going. I have some, you know, where they've passed a bunch of good laws in Ohio, but the permitting is so expensive. We're waiting for that to change. So, you know.
Well, when that happens, we'll have to talk about that too.
Absolutely. You
Thanks.
bet.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And everyone, remember, if you like listening, please give us a review, share it with a friend. Let us know what your favorite episodes are. And if you'd like to stay in touch over social media, we are Planted with Sarah Pion on Facebook and Planted with Sarah on Instagram and Twitter. You can also go to our website, www.plantedwithsarah.com, or listen to us on our parent network, Radio Misfits Network, where there are other great podcasts, like one of my favorites, the Winemakers Podcast. So check it out. You can listen to Planted wherever you listen to your favorite podcast, whether that's Pandora, Spotify, Amazon, Google, Apple, Stitcher, tune in. We are there. So join us. And until next time, stay curious, stay safe, and remember, it's a wild world out there. Be good to one another. Until next time, take care.